From White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts, this is Bourne Braves Baseball alongside Jordan Palacio. I'm Sam Wiederhaft. The Braves split the doubleheader against Orleans yesterday, dropping the first game 9-0, but then coming back and taking game two 2-1 on a walk-off single from Alec Burleson. Jordan, for the first time this season, we saw the pitching struggle in game one, but a big bounce-back victory in the second game.
Yeah, and it was a big win in that second game for the Bravos. We're talking about a team who could have fallen all the way down to 1-4, and every single game matters in this 44-game Cape Cod League baseball season. And instead of being 1-4, right now the Braves find themselves at 2-3, have the opportunity to get to 500 here tonight.
Yeah, for the second time this season, they'll take on the Harwich Mariners, dropping the first contest last Wednesday, 3-1. Jordan, how can the Braves, who, like you said, stand at 2-3, get back to 500 tonight?
It all starts with the hitting, I think, for this team. We know the pitching, aside from that one game against Orleans, has been solid. Harrison Rakowski's on the mound tonight for the Braves. I think if they can come out and actually give him some run support for the first time this season, I think the Braves will be okay. It's all about generating base runners and then generating the runs.
Now let's take a look at how the Braves line up here for today's ball game. The leadoff batter, number 27, Xavier Warren, playing third base. Alika Williams batting in that 2 spot, playing shortstop. Alec Burleson will take over the 3 spot. He's playing in first base today. We saw him play right field in both games yesterday. A.J. Curtis, the cleanup hitter, the typical first baseman, moves to DH today. Brendan Rivoli taking over right field. Paul Gazzo is behind the plate at the catcher's position. Jake McKenzie playing over in left field. We saw him play that position in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday. Cody Morissette at second base. Noah Bridges rounds out the lineup in center field. And for Harwich, they turn toward Wade Strain to start this game off.
And Wade Strain, coming from William and Mary Jr., we're looking at a guy, 3 pitches, 2-seam fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. Spent last summer with the Staunton Braves back in the Valley League, getting his first time here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. 14 starts this past year in college, about 82 innings pitched, a 6-4 record, a 3.6 ERA, and he's one of those temporary guys on this Harwich Mariner roster. So really, I think fighting for a roster spot here tonight is Wade Strain.
So Xavier Warren will lead off the batting for the Braves in the top half of the first. Warren not enjoying the same success that he had 2 nights ago in the Falmouth game, where he homered and knocked in 4 RBIs in a 10-2 victory, the Braves' first victory at the time of the season. And he will be the first batter that Wade Strain faces off against. Warren, the switch hitter, will get in the left-handed batter's box, take on the right-handed Strain. Here's the first pitch of the ball game, and it's a fastball down the middle for a strike on Xavier Warren.
And for Xavier Warren, I think it's all about staying ahead in the counts. If he falls behind too fast, then you're in a defensive mode. And, with 2 strikes, your approach does change.
Here's the 0-1 to him. Swings at it, fouls it off for strike number 2. Xavier Warren in the last game number 2 in last night's doubleheader, went 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Really struggled against the pitching for the Firebirds. Strain takes his time. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Warren. Warren ground ball first base side that goes foul, and he stays in the at-bat 0-2.
Yeah, 1 for 5 as a whole yesterday. He had a base on balls, got hit by a pitch, and he's had the 3 strikeouts. Pretty uncharacteristic for Warren in that second game.
Here's the 0-2 from Strain. Warren, ground ball right over to the shortstop. That's Dempsey. Picks it up cleanly. Throw to first is in time. And 1 up, 1 down. Xavier Warren is retired.
Routine ground bar there for Dempsey. And that's a good pitching at bat there for Wade Strain. Get the guy down in a hole 0-2, and then get him to ground out to short.
So that'll bring up Alika Williams, the shortstop today. We saw Williams in the shortstop position in the first game against Orleans in the doubleheader. He watches ball 1 from Wade Strain. Williams went over to second base for the second game. He swapped spots with Jimmy Glowenke, who is absent in today's lineup. Here's the 1-0 from Strain. Alika swings at it, fouls it off, over on the right side in right field. It's caught by Ludwig for the second out. And there's 2 quick outs for Wade Strain.
Wade Strain doing his job here, working through this order, and even better for Strain, keeping his pitch count down. Only the 5th pitch so far in this inning.
Now we'll bring up Alec Burleson, the best hitter in this lineup so far through 3 games. Got here a little late. Here's the first pitch from Strain. He swings at it. Little floater over on the second base side. Danny Harris picks it up. Throw to first, 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits for the Bourne Braves. We head to the bottom of the first, 0-0 score. You're watching Bourne Braves baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Zero-zero score between the Harwich Mariners and the Bourne Braves heading into the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at how the Mariners line up for today's game. Chris Gallen playing in left field will lead it off for Harwich. Joey Weimer, the center fielder, bats in the second spot. Bobby Seymour from Wake Forest, watch out for him, will bat in the third spot, playing first base today. Nico Cavadas, the third baseman, in the fourth spot. Chris Lanzilli DHing today. Michael Ludwig in right field. Jackson Greer playing catcher. Brian Dempsey, the shortstop, and Danny Harris, the second baseman, rounds out the lineup. And Joran for the Braves, they turn to Harrison Rakowski, who we've already seen once this season.
Yeah, we saw him opening night over at Orleans in the 2-0 loss at Eldridge Park. And Harrison Rakowski, big, tall, left-handed guy, 6'3", 225, coming out of Rutgers. 0-1 this season, 4.5 ERA, only gave up 2 runs on a 2-run home run via Josh Moore. Had 5 strikeouts off of 4 hits, and that started at Orleans.
So here's Chris Gallen. He'll face off against the left-handed Harrison Rakowski. And Rakowski gets the first ball in there for a strike. Gallen, the left fielder today in 2019 for Boston College, batted .267 with 21 RBIs. And a Boston College team that went 31-27, swings at the second pitch over to center field. Under it will be Noah Bridges, putting it out for the first out for the Braves.
And we've seen a lot of quick at-bats so far in the early going here, Sam. I believe that is the third at-bats combined here, going under 3 pitches.
Yeah, certainly a quick first half of the first inning. Joey Weimer now comes in for the Mariners. The rising sophomore from Cincinnati facing Rakowski for the first time, and there's the third strike in a row for the left-handed pitcher out of Rutgers for the Braves. Weimer batted .263 for Cincinnati this past season. There's another fast strike in there, 0-2.
And Weimer batting .385 so far in the 5 games played for the Mariners. Definitely a tough out here on this Harwich team.
Here's the 0-2 delivery from Rakowski on Weimer. That pitch high and tight for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Weimer has a home run on the season as well as 2 RBIs for a solid .385 average. The 1-2 from Rakowski. Weimer, a little chopper over to second base. Right there is Morris set. The throw across his body is in time to Burleson at first, and there's 2 outs.
That's another one of those plays where you see it in person, and the players just making it look so much easier than it actually is. Morissette having to charge in on that high chopper off of the bat of Weimer, coming in, throwing across his body to first base. Sure didn't throw it a long way, but he did get it out of the glove fast, and he did so beautifully there for the second out.
So here's Bobby Seymour, the rising junior from Wake Forest. We've heard a lot about him. His 2019 season, he exploded offensively, .377 average for 9 home runs, 92 RBIs. That was the most by any ACC player since Buster Posey hit 93 for Florida State. First pitch he watches is a fastball inside the zone for a strike.
Yeah, that Buster Posey name, that rings a bell there, Sam.
Certainly, yeah. I think I've heard that before. Seymour, a .316 average so far in the Cape. A high strike for Harrison Rakowski gets Seymour to swing at it, and he's quickly in an 0-2 hole.
And this would be a big out here for Rakowski to get Seymour. You know, obviously he is pretty much Harwich's version of Alec Burleson. Big, tall, left-handed guy. Hits the ball a ton. Be a big confidence builder here in the early going to get him out.
Here's the 0-2 pitch from Rakowski. Seymour Fouls it off over on the third base side. Oh, Alec Burleson from East Carolina. Wake Forest also in North Carolina. Producing some great baseball in the North Carolina state. Here's the 0-2 on Seymour. That pitch low. He swing at it in the dirt. Behind the plate as Paul Gazzo picks it up on the third. Drop third strike. Throw to first is in time. Quickly, 3 up, 3 down, and Harrison Murkowski picks up his first strikeout of the game. No runs, no hits for the Harwich Mariners. We head to the top of the second. You're watching Bourne Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. A.J. Curtis, Brendan Rivoli, Paul Gazzo due up for the Bourne Braves against Wade Strain and Jordan. We were just talking about it off the air. A very, very quick first inning time-wise.
Yeah, first pitch in the top of the first inning was 6:35, and right now we're at 6:44. A couple minutes in between innings there. It timed down to be a 7-minute first inning, which if you're an umpire, you'd love to see that.
A.J. Curtis watches the first pitch outside for a ball from Wade Strain. Curtis in his last game in Game 2 against Orleans went 2 for 3 with a triple in that one. He watches strike one on the outside corner, evens up the count, a ball and a strike. Curtis flashed his speed in that triple in Game 2. Here comes the 1-1 from Strain. Curtis ground ball up the middle. Taking it will be the shortstop for Harwich. Throw is too high. It was Brian Dempsey with the ground ball over at short. The throw over to Bobby Seymour was way off target, and A.J. Curtis is on with what will likely be scored an error.
Yeah, that's going to be an E6 on that for sure. Brian Dempsey, maybe he felt a little bit rushed there. Curtis, you mentioned the speed, legged out a triple in that last game, and was threatening there to beat out that throw. Kind of a slow ground ball, hit the very backside of the mound, and Dempsey gets charged the air. But if you're the Braves, you got to run on first. You don't really care.
And Brendan Rivoli steps up. Went 1 for 3 last night in the second game with a strikeout on the season. He's batting .71, and he swings at the first pitch. Another ball hit over to Dempsey. Picks it up with his bare hand. Throw to second is in time. The throw to first was not in time. They call A.J. Curtis safe over at second, and everybody is safe. I guess the throw wasn't in time for Brian Dempsey to second base.
Yeah, Harris, the second baseman for the Mariners, is kind of shocked, and I think everybody else is. Everyone kind of confused. Can't believe that Curtis was called safe over there at second base, but he was. So it goes in the book as a fielder's choice there for Rivoli. He gets on base, and now the Braves in business here. Nobody out in the top of the second inning.
Runners on first and second, and that brings up Paul Gazzo. So it's Curtis over at second, Brendan Rivoli at first. They call it a hit on the scoreboard.
Oh.
So Rivoli, as it stands right now, has his second hit of the season. Gazzo with a 300 even average in the Cape comes up for his first at-bat of the evening and watches ball one from Wade Strain.
Yeah, I'm not 100% there on the scoring. I'm not sure how you can rule a hit if the shortstop throws it to second base on a ball hit on the infield. But for Rivoli and for his stats-wise, I'm sure he'll take it getting his second hit on the year.
Here's the 1-0 pitch to Gazzo. That fastball is down the middle for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, now if you're Paul Gazzo and the Braves, you really just want to avoid the double play ball here. Keep the ball off the ground. They got lucky on that last play that Curtis is able to beat it out again, showcasing that speed. But if you're Gazzo, your main objective here is at the very least move the runners over.
Strain stares down the catcher. Now collects himself. Here's the 1-1 delivery on Paul Gazzo. Off speed, Gazzo takes it to right field. Ludwig moving over towards it. That ball's going to fall, and that'll be a single for Paul Gazzo, and the Braves load him up.
Nice piece of defensive hitting there from Paul Gazzo. Kind of took the ball where it's pitched. That's what coaches will always tell you. Ball on the outside part of the plate. He takes it to the right field. Just a little floater falls in front of Ludwig, and now Jake McKenzie and the Braves. Bases loaded, nobody out. It should be a fun inning here, Sam.
Jake McKenzie, the right-handed batter, steps up with no outs, bases loaded. A.J. Curtis over at second. Brendan Rivoli, or Curtis at third. Rivoli over at second. Gazzo at first. With the single, here's the first pitch to McKenzie, and he flies it up, moving over into shallow left field. Brian Dempsey under it is called off by the left fielder. They call infield fly rule. And there's the first out of the inning. So one pitch, one out. And now the double play possibility comes into effect with a runner over at first.
Yeah, so infield fly rule called on that one. Dempsey under it. And even though it was caught by the outfielder Gallen, the batter McKenzie already was called out, so even if he had dropped the ball, he would have still been out there. One out now. You bring up Cody Morissette looking for his first hit on the year, and what a time it would be to get it right now with two runners in scoring position.
Yeah, hitless on the Cape so far. He's 0 for 10. Here's the first pitch to him as upstairs out of the zone for ball one. Morissette has had 10 at-bats. He struck out in 7 of them. He was 0 for 3 in the second game of the doubleheader last night with 2 strikeouts. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Strain. Morissette fouls it off right back toward the backstop, and that'll even things up. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, I think Morissette needing just to stay ahead in the count here. 1-1. A ground ball would be a killer to load the bases up and then not score any runs for the Braves.
Here's the 1-1 pitch to Morissette, which he fouls off third base side, moving out of play, and it gets into the stands, and now Morissette's down with a 1-2 count. And Joran, a player like Morissette who struggled with strikeouts earlier in this season, how does he defend here 1-2?
You just got to choke up on the back, shorten up the swing a little bit, just try and put the ball in play. We saw Orleans, whenever they would get Morissette into a pitcher's count, they would go up high with the fastball. Let's see if that's what they do here with Morissette up 1-2.
1-2 pitch from Strain. Morissette gets a bat on it. It'll be fielded by Dempsey. Taps second, throw to first, and there's a double play. So the Braves have the bases loaded with nobody out and can't cash it in. 2 hits for the Braves, no runs. We head to the second inning, or the bottom of the second inning. You're watching Braves Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Four, five, 6 batters due up for the Harwich Mariners in the bottom half of the second inning. Score still tied 0-0, and Joran, the Braves load the bases up with no outs and can't capitalize.
Yeah, and it's been one of those problems all season long.
A measly 176 through 5 games he's played in on the season. Gotten 3 hits of 17 at-bats. Lines at first base side. That ball moving foul. So still a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Nico Cavadas. Nobody out. Bottom of the second inning. Nobody on base. 2 hits for the Bourne Braves coming in the top half of the second. Now the 2-2 from Rakowski. High fly ball curving in foul territory. Xavier Warren, the third baseman, will go back to the wall and catches it right in front of the fence in foul territory for the first out for the Braves.
And it was a good at-bat there for Cavadas there. Rakowski just getting the better of him. You know, it's always really frustrating as a batter being put away on a foul ball caught in foul territory. That's always the worst way to go out, even more so than a strikeout, because you don't even feel like you got beat.
Chris Lanzilli, the DH, comes in for the 5th batter that Rakowski has seen. Here's the first pitch to him. Ball's a little low on the off-speed pitch. 1 ball and no strikes. The left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter matchup certainly plays in Lanzilli's favor. He's batting 143 on the early season so far. Here's the 1-0 from Rakowski. Right back up the middle. It's going to be picked up by Alika Williams. Throw to first is in time to Burleson, and there's a quick 2 outs.
And Alika Williams, like we said, a sure thing over there at shortstop. Kind of routine play there. Had to charge in on it nicely, making the throw on the run, and it was right on the dime over to Alec Burleson at first base.
Alika Williams, a player that the Braves might not have for too long.
Yeah.
Him and Burleson, both trying out for Team USA in a couple weeks. And Michael Ludwig, the right fielder, will come in for the Mariners. 2 outs, nobody on, 0-0 score in the bottom half of the second inning. Here's the first pitch from Rakowski. It's a high fastball swung at and missed by Ludwig, 0-1.
And Ludwig way late on that fastball there. Almost started his swing as the ball was going by him, so he's got to make a major adjustment here. Expect fastball again.
0-1, turns around to bunt. There's another fastball. He pulls it back and watches strike 2. No ball and 2-strike count. Michael Ludwig, who right now has the 3rd highest average for the Mariners, 385. 13 at-bats. He's gotten 5 hits. Here's the 0-2. Ludwig will foul it off on the third base side over to the Harwich Mariners bullpen. And he stays in the at-bat, 0-2.
And he has had trouble catching up with the fastball the entire at-bat. Way late on the first pitch, squared up to bunt on the second pitch. And then on that pitch, fouling it down the left field line. And if I'm Rakowski, I say go fastball until he beats you.
0-2, got him swinging for Harrison Rakowski. That's the second strikeout for him on the game so far. Heading to the top of the third inning. No runs, no hits for the Harwich Mariners. Still a 0-0 score. You're watching Braves Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Noah Bridges will lead off the top of the third inning for the Braves. The last inning we saw the Braves batting, loaded the bases up with nobody out and could not get a run in. So Noah Bridges trying to get back in the scoring column. 2 hits already for the Braves coming from Brendan Rivoli and Paul Gazzo, back-to-back singles for them. The first pitch to Noah Bridges is a fastball upstairs for a ball.
And it'd be nice for Noah Bridges to get a nice hit here. Got a hit in the last game against Orleans, little infield single.
And there's a crack of the bat to left center field, moving back. It's to the wall. Noah Bridges will head over for second. Chris Gallen gets the relay throw in. There's a leadoff double for Noah Bridges.
Great piece of hitting there from Bridges. The ball is slicing over Gallen's head in left field. Had no chance to get it. Noah Bridges, some power off that bat we've not seen all season. And once again, the Braves in business, this time at the top of the order. Here was Xavier Warren.
And an encouraging at-bat for Bridges, who is a temporary player in his first 7 at-bats on the Cape. He went 1 for 7, a 143 average, now a leadoff double. And Xavier Warren coming up for the Braves, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out over to short. Here's the first pitch from Wade Strain, that fastball falling low. A 1-ball, no strike count to Xavier Warren. Warren, the team leader with 4 RBIs, all of those coming in the game against Falmouth on Saturday. Home run, double, single, was actually a triple away from getting the cycle. Warren has batted leadoff the past 4 games he's seen action in. Hard ground ball over to second. Danny Harris fields it cleanly. Throw to first gets Warren, but Noah Bridges moves over to third.
And that's your job as a hitter there, especially with no outs on a runner on second base, is get the runner over to third base. Warren does that beautifully, hits the ball on the right side, and Bridges able to advance to third base with ease. And now for Alika Williams, you got the go-ahead runner here, only 90 feet away.
Williams, a batter that got 53 RBIs for Arizona State in the 2019 regular season, looking for his first RBI on the Cape, and watches strike one. Williams went 0 for 2 with 2 walks in the second game of the doubleheader against Orleans last night. The 0-1 is off speed, falls before the plate for a ball, 1 ball and a strike.
Yeah, and for Williams here, your job as a hitter obviously is to score the run. There's a couple different ways you could do that here. Usually the ball is going to have to go into the outfield and somewhat deep, so you want to try and get under it and get that runner home.
Here's the 1-1 to Williams. Fastball outside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
You got Alec Burleson on deck, so if possible here, getting on base at all for Alika Williams would be nice. And, they're obviously not going to try and walk him here with Burleson's big bat on deck.
Here's the 2-1 pitch to Williams. Off speed yet again. Bounces away from the catcher. Jackson Greer. Coming home will be Noah Bridges. And the Braves get on top first. It's 1-0.
Sometimes you don't even have to hit the ball to score the run there. A wild pitch bouncing off the umpire there. And it kind of served as a little hidden ball trick because Greer could not find the ball. It bounced off the chest protector of the umpire. And it laid actually just a couple feet in front of home plate. Nobody was able to find it. And Bridges was able to come in standing up with the ball literally only a couple feet away.
Bridges was going to come home all the way. Here's the 3-1 from Strain. Alika lets that one go and watches it for strike 2. The count now runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And so now you kind of hit the reset on the approach here, 3-2.
Here's the payoff to Williams. Williams swings at a ground ball up the middle. That ball will get into center field, and Alika Williams is on for his first single of the ball game.
And this is an encouraging sign. So bases loaded, nobody out, couldn't score a run, but now the Braves, they're definitely hitting the ball, swinging the bats a lot more aggressively here ever since that Falmouth game. It's ever since the weight has been lifted on the shoulders, and they're not afraid to go after the ball.
Alec Burleson steps up, and Jordan, we've seen in the games that Bourne gets on top of it early and gets some runs early in the first 4 innings, we've seen them prevail as the game moves on. Here's the first pitch to Alec Burleson. Watches it down the middle for strike 1.
It's all about run support. This is something that the starting pitchers really haven't had up until that game against Falmouth. And if you give a guy like Harrison Rakowski 1, 2, 3 runs of support, he's going to go out there and pitch an aggressive game.
0-1 from Strain is another fastball down the middle to Burleson. He watches it strike 2. Burleson scored Kyle Hess to win the game in the second game of the Orleans doubleheader last night for the second win on the young season for the Braves. They moved to 2-3. As here's the 0-2. Strain turns back over to first and checks on Williams. A throw over, not in time, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes to Burleson.
Yeah, those USA tryouts coming next week, I believe the 26th. So the Braves will have Burleson for only that much longer.
0-2. Burleson sends that one to right field. Michael Ludwig moving back on it. Should have it with ease. And he does. Alika Williams jogs back over to first. And there's the second out of the inning. Burleson moves to 0 for 2 on the day.
And it's always tough when you fall behind in the count 0-2 because you have to choke up on the bat a little bit, shorten up on the swing, try to avoid the strikeout. And, there's really nothing you can do. Your approach widens up to pretty much outside of the strike zone because, especially in this league, you never really know what is and what isn't going to be called a strike.
Now we'll bring up A.J. Curtis, who reached on an error in the second inning, got his way all the way over to third in that inning where they loaded the bases up and couldn't get anybody home. Here's the first pitch from Strain to Curtis. It's off speed and just misses the zone. A little too outside. 1 ball, no strikes to A.J. Curtis from Cal State Fullerton.
Greer tried his best there to frame up that pitch. A little too low and a little too flashy, I think, with the frame. Not able to get the call.
Strain taking his time. Here's the 1-0 to Curtis. Fastball on the upper part of the zone. Strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike.
No need to frame a pitch right down the middle, though. Yeah, that one you really don't have to do too much on as a catcher.
Curtis, who's the only Brave seen action in every single game, has played 5 games at first base. This is the first game he's not getting action over at first. Here's the 1-1 outside on the fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Curtis taking a break in the field. Designated hitter today. Burleson takes over first base for him. Strain, quick look over at first. Now set, now backs off the mound, calls timeout.
And Curtis has seen his average steadily rise since the early parts of the season when the offense was really struggling to get going. Now leads the team in at-bats and hits. He's played every single game so far this season for the Bravos.
And now the catcher, Jackson Greer, will head over to talk to Wade Strain. You mentioned A.J. Curtis's batting average rising. He batted .318 for Cal State Fullerton with a home run and 18 RBIs over in Anaheim, California.
Yeah, he's batting .278 right now on the season. In that doubleheader Sunday, batted 2 for 6. So that's a nice, cool .333 for him.
He's been a big part of the rejuvenation of the offense. First 2 games only saw him get 7 hits combined. Now the 2-1 pitch to A.J. Curtis is a high strike, fouled off and back into the glove of the catcher, Jackson Greer. And that'll even it up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs in the inning. Alika Williams still over at first. Already 1 run home for the Braves, coming from Noah Bridges on a wild pitch. Curtis back into the box, awaiting the 2-2 pitch from Strain. Strain looks over at Alika Williams over at first. Now the 2-2 pitch from him. That ball falls way before the plate for a ball. And the count will now run full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Alika Williams will be stealing over at first.
Yeah, which is an important part because we've already seen him score from first on a 3-2 count before with 2 outs in that game against Falmouth. So Williams definitely has the speed. If this ball is placed correctly, if it finds a gap, finds a wall, Alika should be scoring here.
Here's the payoff from Strain on Curtis as Alika Williams takes off. It's too high for ball 4, and A.J. Curtis works out a walk. That'll bring up Brendan Rivoli.
And Rivoli with the almost the phantom hit in his first at-bat, the fielder's choice that was ruled a hit. But he's on the game. He's 1 for 1, got to second base that last time. And, just building on the confidence. He ended the doubleheader game, the second doubleheader game against Orleans with a hit. Started today off with the hit. See if he just keep it rolling. Hitting's contagious, Sam.
Rivoli, the left-handed batter, steps up with runners on first and second and swings at the first pitch, misses for strike 1. Rivoli, we mentioned his struggles. They score that last at-bat a hit, so he's now 2 for 15 with 5 strikeouts on the season. Plays at the University of Virginia, a rising junior. Here's the 0-1 from Strain. Rivoli swings at it again, fouls it off toward the backstop, and he'll move to an 0-2 count. Alika Williams still over at short. A.J. Curtis at first. Braves looking to capitalize on already a one-run inning in the top of the third. Noah Bridges started it off with a leadoff double, then came home to score on a wild pitch. Here's the 0-2 to Rivoli, and he'll foul it off toward the seats. Remains 0-2.
I'll tell you what, that bat a little close to breaking, I think, right there. Pitch in on the hands, and you and I both know, Sam, how easy these bats are to breaking.
Well, yesterday it was certainly interesting against Orleans. It was like a bat broke every inning.
Yeah, right.
Talking to Braves general manager Darren Weeks before the game, he says that's one of his off-season duties is to order the bats for the players. He said a player gets between 5 and 7 bats. Here's the 0-2 to Rivoli, rocketed down the first base side, gets under the glove of Bobby Seymour. The first baseman coming home is Alika Williams. It's a 2-0 lead for the Braves, and they get a little bit lucky there, Joran.
Yeah, big time lucky right there. Seymour playing it on the backhand side, just skipped under his glove. And if you're the Braves, you'll take it, especially when you've been struggling to put runs on the board. They'll take the extra run. Williams comes around from second, and Curtis goes all the way to third. And now a base hit here from Paul Gazzo, and you're looking at a 3-0 top of the third.
2-0 lead for the Braves in the top half of the third inning as Paul Gazzo, who already has a hit in the last inning of today's game, comes in with A.J. Curtis over at third. Rivoli got to first. They will call that an error, the second error for Harwich today, and there's the first strike to Paul Gazzo.
And that's why they always say just put the ball in play. Make the other team make plays because you never know what's going to happen. We've been through not even 3 complete innings yet, and Harwich have already made 2 errors.
0-1 from Wade Strain. And there's the second called strike on Paul Gazzo. He's quickly in an 0-2 hole. Gazzo looking for his second RBI in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Here's the 0-2. And a swinging strike 3. Wade Strain got him. Bourne leaves runners on first and third, but 2 runs come across the plate for the Braves in the top of the third inning. They lead it 2-0. We head to the bottom half. You're watching Braves Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Seven, 8, 9 batters due up for the Harwich Mariners as they find themselves in a 2-0 hole as the Braves plate 2 runs in the top of the third inning to get on top. First, Jackson Greer, the number 7 batter, will lead it off against Harrison Ratowski. And just like we saw him in his first start against Orleans, rolling through this first part of the lineup. Here's the first pitch to Greer. It's high and outside for a ball.
Yeah, for Rakowski, it was only one mistake that led to a 2-run home run, but this is going to be a big at-bat here. Jackson Greer batting 500, and yeah, you heard that right, 500 so far on the season.
Here's the 1-0. Greer will foul it off first base side, and that'll even things up. A ball and a strike. Greer from East Tennessee State. The rising junior in the 2019 season batted .314 with 42 RBIs and 10 big flies, and a team that went 34-21 in the regular season. The 1-1 catches the inside corner for a strike, and Rutowski is ahead in the at-bat. It's 1-2.
Yeah, and for Rukowski, it's all about getting ahead in the count. 4 out of the 6 outs so far in the game, he has been ahead in the count, and you can show just how dominant he is.
1-2, got him swinging, and the third strikeout for Harrison Rutowski. 1 in every inning so far. There's the first out of the inning.
And that's, like I said, that's a tough out to get right there. Jackson Greer, 4 for 8 on the season. Now you have to do it again against Brian Dempsey, and he has been zooming through this lineup, has been Rutowski.
1 out, nobody on. Brian Dempsey, the shortstop, will come up to face off against Harrison Rutowski. First pitch to Dempsey. He thought about it, pulled back, and watches ball 1. Well, talking to pitching coach Ace Adams before this game, he said Rutowski's definitely going to get drafted. He's liked what he's seen from him so far. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and a swinging strike fouled back into the glove of Paul Gazzo for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dempsey, also from Boston College, a rising junior. .295 batting average for the Eagles. 1-1 pitch is high and outside. 2-1. He had trouble in the field last year. 13 errors. Gets the start at shortstop today. Here's the 2-1 to him. It's a chopper back up the middle. Alika Williams, one shortstop to the other. Throw to first, and there's 2 outs.
And you mentioned he's in a little trouble in the field. He's already have an error so far today. 1 of 2 Mariners errors, 1 of which leading to the second Braves run.
Fielding has definitely played to the Braves' advantage so far. And Danny Harris, the 4th, the second baseman, comes up to round out this first part of the lineup. Rutowski has not allowed a hit so far through 8 batters and struck out 3. First pitch to Harris. Swings at it. Chopper over to second base. Cody Morissette fields it cleanly. Throw to first. And another 3 up, 3 down through the first time through the lineup. Harrison Rutowski has not allowed any hits and no runs. It's 2-0 score as we head to the top of the 4th inning. The Braves lead it. You're watching Braves Baseball on the Bourne Braves Baseball Network. One. Jake McKenzie leads it off for the Bourne Braves in the top of the 4th inning alongside Jordan Palacio. Sam Wiederhaft with you. It'll be McKenzie, Morissette, Bridges, 7, 8, 9 due up for the Braves. They've already scored 2 runs, both coming in the top of the 3rd inning. And thanks to a couple bad plays by the Mariners, the Braves now up in this one early. Here's the first pitch to McKenzie, a swinging strike where he was way out in front of the off-speed pitch.
Yeah, tough pitch to get on your first pitch of the at-bat. Off speed, way ahead of it. Let's see how he adjusts. Oh.
Next pitch is in the zone for a strike. Now 0-2.
Tell you what, that was a big, slow curveball, and it was nasty from Wade Strain just then.
McKenzie 0 for 1 with a fly out to left in the 2nd inning. He takes it to left field yet again. This ball will stay fair, barely bounces over in left field. It'll be picked up by Chris Gallen. Meanwhile, McKenzie gets over to second, and for the second inning in a row, it is a leadoff double for the Braves.
And what a piece of hitting there by Jake McKenzie, by the way. Sees that big breaker, the pitch before, sees it, gets it again, and makes Strain pay for throwing that same pitch twice. Lands it right on the left field line. Gallen had no chance over there to catch that ball, and all he could do is just get it into the relay and stop McKenzie over at second base.
The Braves already with 5 hits in this game, as Cody Morissette will foul the first pitch off from Wade Strain over into the seats. Morissette grounded into a double play in the second inning with the bases loaded. The Braves certainly making up for that wasted inning in the third, and now already have a runner on second in the fourth. 5 hits already for them. They got 7 hits in the second game against Orleans and only 2 hits in the first game yesterday in that doubleheader. The 0-1 on the fastball just misses the zone from Wade Strain.
And that's a great take right there from Morissette to the cat. That pitch crossing just below the knees, right at the top of the shins. A lot of people would call that a strike first off, but if you swing at it and you hit it, where are you going to do with that ball except hit it straight into the ground? So it's a great pitch, but an even better take.
Strain looks over to second. Here's the 1-1. Morissette squares it around for a bunt, pulls it back, and watches strike 2.
Yeah, and Morissette kind of shaking his head at that one. Should not have pulled back the bunt, obviously, there. The breaking ball curved right back into the zone. Now down 1-2. He's got to make something happen here.
We're aware of Morissette's struggles. He's now 0 for 11, still without a hit in the Cape League. The 1-2, he rockets to right field into the gap. That ball will get down and over to the wall. Coming home will be Jake McKenzie. There's another double, the third double of the game for the Braves, and Cody Morissette has his first hit and RBI in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
And I'll tell you, what a way to get your first hit, to a rifle off the bat of Cody Morissette. No chance in between the gap of Weimer and Ludwig, and right center field is a guaranteed double off the bat, and the Bourne bats are rolling here at White House.
They are certainly getting to Wade Strain early in this ball game as Noah Bridges now comes up for his second at-bat. He doubled in the top of the third inning and came around to score on a wild pitch for the first run of the day for the Braves. They now have 3. It's a 3-0 ball game. Here's the first pitch to Bridges. He watches for ball 1. Strain going to William and Mary. Noah Bridges going to University of North Carolina, Wilmington, both playing in the same conference during the regular season as Wade Strain steps off the mound. (1-0) to him. He is upstairs for a ball. And Noah Bridges ahead in this at-bat. 2 balls and no strikes.
And Bridges right here looking at his chops. 2-0, hitters count. And everybody right now for the Braves swinging a hot bat. Bridges already got it on the party once, wants to rejoin here for the second time.
2 Colonial Athletic Association Conference rivals going at it. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and Bridges will foul it off for the first strike. 2-1 to the Braves center fielder. Bridges, another one of those temporary players fighting for a roster spot, has seen struggles, especially in the field yesterday, was diving for a ball that was way out in front of him and got past him to the wall. He allowed a double on that play. Triple, excuse me. Here's the 2-1 pitch to him, and Bridges ground ball over to second base. It's picked up by Danny Harris. He bobbles it. The throw to first will be in time. And meanwhile, Cody Morissette gets over to third.
Yeah, bang play over there at first base. Harris having some troubles picking the ball up there. And this middle infield has seen a lot of errors in their collegiate seasons, almost 30 combined between the both of them. Almost was another one right there. However, when you talk about the at-bat, he did his job. Bridges moves the runner over. Now it's on Xavier Warren here to get him in.
Just 1 out in the inning. Cody Morissette moved over to third on that last at-bat from Noah Bridges. And the first pitch to the leadoff batter, Xavier Warren. He watches for strike 1.
Already getting his third at-bat in just the fourth inning here is Xavier Warren, and not really focusing on so much as getting hit, just getting the run in. That's all that matters for Warren.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. That ball curves way into the zone for a strike on a very slow pitch from Wade Strain, and Xavier Warren now down 0-2. Warren only got 3 at-bats through the entire first game of the doubleheader yesterday. Now, that was a shortened 7-inning game, but here's already his third at-bat in the fourth inning. The 0-2 is low and inside for a ball and 2 strikes.
And that breaking ball from Strain is almost Greinke-esque with how slow it is and how much movement it has, and, just traveling at 60 feet, 6 inches.
Righty against lefty matchup. Cody Morris hit at third. One out in the inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Warren. He swings away and fouls it barely back to the backstop. And the count will remain the same. A ball and 2 strikes.
And strikeout here would be kind of a killer for the Braves this inning, just because, besides not wanting to get a strikeout, obviously, it's an unproductive out. Warren might be able to hit a sacrifice fly, still recording it out, but that run would come in. He hit the ball on the ground here with the infield in, probably going to score a run.
Here's the 1-2 to Xavier Warren. Off speed, he takes him again and fouls it off toward the Bourne dugout. So Xavier Warren putting together a solid at-bat here, 1-2. There is another arm warming up in the Harwich bullpen. That will be Antonio Menendez, the right-handed pitcher for the Mariners. This could be the last inning for Wade Strain. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Warren, off speed, chopper over to first base. That is just foul by a couple inches. And we'll do it again, 1-2.
I'll tell you what, that ball was not as clearly foul as everybody on the field made it seem to be. Only just missing the bag by a couple inches there. And what an at-bat, by the way, from Xavier Warren here, forcing foul ball after foul ball, just trying to get his pitch. And I'll tell you what, the longer Warren sees pitches, the more likely he is to capitalize.
Another 1-2 from Wade Strain, and Warren watches it for ball 2. So that'll even up the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Warren looking for his first hit since an RBI single in the 6th inning against Falmouth on Saturday. Strain collects. Now the 2-2 pitch to Xavier Warren. Fouls off yet again. That one came back and hit him. And we'll do it again, 2-2. Xavier Warren doing his exact job, especially in the leadoff position today.
Watch out, by the way. Menendez warming up for the Mariners just fired a wild pitch that just bounced straight into left field. The catcher over there had to run out and get it. Glad they didn't do that in the middle of a pitch there, Sam.
Menendez wants to get those bad pitches out right now while he's warming up before he gets in the game. Wade Strain on the mound collects himself. Now the 2-2, and Warren will foul it off yet again. And what a great at-bat from Xavier Warren. We saw him have another one of those at-bats in yesterday's doubleheader where Orleans struck him out, but really battling in the at-bat here, Jordan.
Yeah, he is, and the at-bat being paused by another Menendez wild pitch. Warren acting like a little bit of a mosquito here. It's just you can't seem to get rid of him. No matter what you try, he's just kind of just nagging around.
2-2 to Xavier Warren. Again, he lines it on the first base side. It's gloved by Bobby Seymour, and he taps first base. Cody Morissette will stay over at third, so consider that a win for Wade Strain, and there's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, and Seymour just made up for that error earlier in the game. Complete reflex glove right over there by Seymour on his forehand side, having to make the play and then step on first. But before he did that, he did an important thing. He checked the runner at third base. He looked back, Morissette over at third base, and then made the out.
Alika Williams will step in for his third at-bat and swings at the first pitch, fouls it off toward the Braves dugout. He'll start out 0-1. Williams in the third inning singled and came around to score later in the inning, thanks to an error on an at-bat from Brendan Rivoli. He's 1 for 2 on the day so far. The 0-1 to him is inside on the hands. That'll even the count up, a ball and a strike.
Alika Williams has took Strain to 6 pitches in that last at-bat, going to a 3-2 count. Not afraid to see some balls.
1-1 pitch to Williams is outside. Wade Strain doesn't get the call, and Alika Williams will get ahead in the at-bat. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Morissette still over at third. Had an RBI double right after Jake McKenzie led the inning off with a double. The 2-1 to Williams is grounded over to Dempsey. He can't get a glove on it. It skips over to left field. It's an RBI single as Morissette comes home to score, and the Braves lead it 4-0.
And that would have been a tough play for Dempsey over at shortstop. One of those Derek Jeter type plays where you club it with the backhand and have to make the leaping throw in order to get it. It is ruled a hit for Alika Williams, so it's an RBI single, his second of the game, and the Bravos are rolling here 4-0.
7 hits in the ball games for the Bravos in the 4th inning now. 2 runs home in the 3rd and 4th as Burleson, the number 3 hitter, comes up for the Braves. He's 0 for 2 with a fly out to right in his last at-bat. Swings at the first pitch down the first base line. It's gloved by Bobby Seymour, and he touches the bag. But the Braves add 2 more. It's 4-0 as we head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. You're watching Braves baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Harrison Rakowski back on the mound for his 4th inning of work and hasn't allowed a single hit and has struck out 3 so far through the first 9 batters as the Braves lead this one 4-0 thanks to 2 more runs in the top of the 4th inning, an RBI double from Cody Morissette and an RBI single from Alika Williams. And right now, Jordan, Braves firing on all cylinders.
Absolutely. You have 2 guys pick up their first hits of the season in this one, and a big RBI double from Cody Morissette. My goodness. Being aggressive at the plate, 7 hits, and we're only 4 innings through this game. Man, it's fun to be a Braves fan right now, Sam.
Ace Adams, the pitching coach for the Braves, said he hoped Rakowski would go about 5 innings. We haven't seen a Braves pitcher go past 5 through the first 5 games of the year. And Chris Gallen fouls off the first pitch of the at-bat for strike 1. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out to center in his first at-bat. Rakowski, the left-handed pitcher from Rutgers, seen action in Big Ten play all year. The 0-1 bounces on the plate for ball 1. It's now a ball and a strike to Gallen.
And kind of uncharacteristically, the ball missing way low on that curveball. That's all right. 1-1. You're feeling good on the mound. It's been a little bit since Rakowski's been throwing.
1-1 to Gallen. He'll fly it up, and that ball moving to the seats. Gallen finds himself in a 1-ball, 2-strike hole. Right now, the Braves in the West Division of the Cape Cod Baseball League, they're in 4th, tied with Falmouth. Or check that, Falmouth with 1 more point because Falmouth has a tie, but both teams 2 and 3. And there's a swinging strike 3 on Chris Gallen and 4 strikeouts for Harrison Rakowski.
And he has been literally unhittable here tonight. You mentioned at the top of the inning, so I'm not going to get the blame if it's a jinx. You mentioned he's got a no-hitter, and he does right now. He's been untouchable right now, Sam.
Joey Weimer, a ground out over to second in the first inning, comes up for his second at-bat. A chopper over to third. Xavier Warren gloves it. Throw to first to Burleson is in time, and it's a quick 2 up, 2 down.
And another tough play there. This time, Xavier Warren flashing the letter over there at third base, making a Ryan Zimmerman-esque play, charging in on it, having to throw sidearm across the diamond. Burleson almost brought off the bag, did nice to stretch. You know, Burleson, he's kind of a guy like Shane Muntz, who we talk about. He can play all these different positions, and he can. Burleson can play anywhere in the outfield, playing first base tonight. Then a nice play over there, keeping the foot on the bag.
We haven't seen Shane Muntz in the batting lineup since the second game of the year against Harwich last week. Muntz got his pitching debut in the first game against Orleans and really struggled, allowed 4 runs as Bobby Seymour, the number 3 batter, swings at strike 1 from Harrison Rakowski. And Jordan, we talk about this bullpen. If you take out Muntz's outing, they've only allowed 2 runs on the season. Here's the 0-1 from Rakowski. Right down the middle on the fastball, and he has Bobby Seymour up 0-2.
I mean, and you talk about 2 runs out of your bullpen. If you save the Muntz appearance, I mean, what really more can you ask for out of your guys?
The bullpen has been solid in the first part of the year. Here's the 0-2 on Bobby Seymour, and he barely chops it right behind Paul Gazzo, the catcher, and stays alive in the at-bat 0-2. Seymour struck out in the first inning. as Harrison Rakowski has gotten a strikeout in every single inning so far for his 4 strikeouts on the evening. Here's the 0-2 on Seymour. That ball high outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's a classic 0-2. We're going to try and get him to chase up high on the fastball. Now, let's see if he switches the eye level. I'm expecting that big breaking ball here in the dirt.
1-2 from Rakowski on Seymour. Got him swinging on the off-speed pitch. And there's 5 strikeouts for Harrison Rakowski as he heads back into the dugout. No runs, no hits for the Harwich Mariners. 4-0 lead for the Bourne Braves. We head to the top half of the 5th. You're watching Bourne Baseball on the Braves. That's Baseball Network. .40 lead for the Bravos in the top of the 5th inning, as that's it. The plug has been pulled for Wade Strain. He goes 4 innings, allowing 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 1 strikeout, and 1 walk. And Joran, the Mariners turn it over to Antonio Menendez.
Yeah, Menendez coming in for his 2nd appearance of the season out of Wake Forest. Fastball, curveball, and kind of a slider. He's got 3 different arm slots that he likes to use. Problem is, in his earlier appearance this season against Falmouth, not so great. He pitched 1 inning, gave up 4 runs off of 4 hits, got a 36 ERA, and right now as he's warming up, he's throwing sidearm, but like I said, he can switch that arm angle around, which, as a hitter, that's very hard to pick up on, but as a pitcher, can kind of be a little inconsistency, might even throw yourself off, Sam.
The first batter he'll see will be A.J. Curtis, who's 0 for 1, reached on an error in the 2nd inning, and reached on a walk in the 3rd. Was able to get over to 3rd base after that walk. And couldn't come around to score. Harwich was able to get Falmouth back with a doubleheader sweep yesterday. They moved to 3-3 on the year. Here's the first pitch to A.J. Curtis. It's a sidearm pitch from Menendez, and it falls out of the zone. Curtis ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes.
And Curtis has reached base both times without registering a hit. Got on air his first time and walked his last.
1-0 pitch from Menendez. That one's down the middle for a strike. Evens up the count, a ball and a strike. Harwich in the same spot that Bourne is in the East Division. They're in 4th place right now. Bourne in 4th place in the West Division. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Curtis turns his back. It falls inside. And that'll move it to a 2-ball, 1 strike count. Wareham leads the West Division with a 4-1 record as Curtis swings at the 2-1 pitch. That ball going foul. And we'll even it up, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and looking around the Cape here tonight, Wareham, you mentioned on top of the West Division, they're also on top of the Falmouth Commodores 5-3 right now. Brewster has a 2-0 lead over the Harbor Hawks in that game.
2-2 pitch to Curtis. He fouls back right behind us into the seats. And we'll do it again, 2-2.
Bourne will get a look at the Whitecaps tomorrow night over at Brewster at 5 p.m. And, of course, right now, Bourne on top 4-0 over the Mariners.
Brewster, the 2017 Cape Cod Baseball League champions. 2-2 to Curtis. Curtis, little chopper over to 3rd base. That ball stays fair. It's picked up by Cavadas. Throw to 1st will be in time to get A.J. Curtis, and he's the first out of the inning.
Cavadas with a nice play there. Backhand, actually throwing the ball from foul territory. The ball bounced over the bag, which made it fair, having to backhand it and then throw literally across the diamond from bag to bag. Nice play from Cavadas to get the first out.
Brendan Rivoli now steps in for the Braves. Rivoli reached base on a single in the second inning and then got on by an error in the third that also ended up bringing a run home. First ball is outside from Menendez.
And if you're Brendan Rivoli, have to be feeling yourself up there at the plate a little bit, trying to get a second hit.
1-0 is a swinging strike from Rivoli, the player out of Virginia. Right field today. Hasn't seen a ton of action over there because Harrison Rakowski has been so good on the mound for the Braves through his 4 complete innings. Rivoli swings at the 1-1 pitch and fouls it in foul territory. Cavadas moving over toward the third baseman will put it away just to the left side of the third base bag. There's the second out.
Yeah, that one Rivoli's not going to be as proud of, especially as that single pop-up moon ball on the third base side in foul territory. Cavadas almost lost it there, having to track that one down, but he did so nicely. And now it falls on Paul Gazzo to get something going here in this top of the fifth.
Gazzo, who's 1 for 2, a strikeout, the only strikeout of the game for the Braves in his last at-bat in the third. He faces Menendez for the first time and swings at his first pitch. Menendez doing his job so far, taking over for Wade Strain, who struggled as the Harwich starter. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Menendez, a swinging strike, and he has Paul Gazzo down 0-2.
Yeah, talk about day and night from Antonio Menendez. Gave up 4 runs his first appearance, literally the first game of the season with the Mariners, and now has come out and pitched very well against the Braves.
0-2 from the side armor. Can't get the call on the outside corner with the fastball. That'll move the count up 1 ball and 2 strikes. Braves looking for win number 3 on the season to move to 500. Here's the 1-2 pitch and swinging strike 3 from Paul Gazzo. He goes down for the second time via the strikeout in today's game. No runs, no hits for the Bourne Braves in the top of the fifth. We head to the bottom half of the fifth. 4-0 lead for Bourne. You're watching Braves Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. .4-0 lead for the Braves as we move into the bottom of the fifth inning. Harrison Ratowski will face the 4, 5, and 6 batters for this Harwich lineup for the second time this evening. And Joran Ratowski has been extremely fun to watch on the mound so far.
Oh, my goodness. He has been outstanding, just superb out there on the mound. We're talking about 5 strikeouts and 4 innings pitched. Just a masterpiece so far.
Nico Cavadas will begin things in the inning for the Mariners and watches ball 1 outside from Rakowski. No runs, no hits so far for the Harwich Mariners in the bottom of the fifth, and Cavadas watches ball 2.
Yeah, quick check on the standings out there in the Eastern Division. It's a tight neck race so far. Chatham is on top at 8 points at a 4-3 record, and Brewster, who's playing right now, 3-3 at 6 points, only 2 points separating first from last.
2-0, Cavadis rockets that ball down the right field line. That ball will be fair in the first run, or the first hit for the Harwich Mariners. Cavadis slides into second base, and there's a lead-off double, and finally the Mariners get to Rakowski.
And, of course, it comes when Rakowski is behind in the count. 2-0 count there to Cavadis, and he made Rakowski pay for that. It shows how important that actually is getting ahead in the count and making sure that you fire in a good pitch when you're trailing.
And that'll bring up Chris Lanzilli with a runner over on second, the first base runner for the Mariners this evening. It comes in the bottom of the 5th inning. So we'll see how Rakowski can deal with some pressure. His last outing, he gave up 2 runs to Orleans on a 2-run home run from Josh Zamora. That was in the 4th inning. And there's the first pitch strike to Chris Lanzilli, the DH, who's over 1. Well, Jordan, the story for the starters for the Bourne Braves has really been just one bad inning. You hope that Rakowski doesn't have that here in the bottom of the 5th. This will most likely be his last inning pitched. Rakowski looks over to second. Here's the 0-1 pitch as Lanzilli fouls it off first base side into the seats. 0-2 now.
And this is all just about limiting the damage. So what? You give up the leadoff double. If you get a strikeout or a measly ground out, it doesn't mean anything. And that's the attitude that Rakowski is going to have right here. 0-2 pitch. I expect nothing less than a fastball. Go out, challenge the guy, make him beat you.
Rakowski comes set. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Lanzilli. It comes off the end of the bat. A small fly ball over to first base for Alec Burleson. He puts it away, no problem. There's the first out of the inning.
And it just goes to show how dominant Rakowski is when he gets ahead in the count. 0-2 count. What happens? You have a pop-up to Alec Burleson over at first base. And that's it. And that's all that's been happening when he is in the lead. He goes behind 2-0 and he gives up a double. So he's able to get ahead, especially get a first pitch strike. I think the first pitch might be the most crucial pitch of an at-bat when you're facing Rakowski.
Michael Ludwig comes up for the Harwich Mariners with Cavadis still over at second. Lefty on lefty matchup. Here's the first pitch to Ludwig. And it's right down the middle on the fastball from Rakowski, 0-1. Rakowski, the opening day starter for the Braves, 5 strikeouts in that 4-inning performance against the Orleans Firebirds, who took 1 of 2 against Bourne last night. Here's the 0-1 pitch on Ludwig. Can't get the call on the fastball. First ball of the at-bat. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
They got the first pitch strike here. Now count even up. Go out and steal a strike. You know, I think probably another fastball here, maybe down and away. Make Lanzilli beat your best stuff.
Here's the 1-1 from Rakowski. It's lined over third base side, curving foul. And Ludwig now down 1 ball and 2 strikes. He struck out in his first at-bat, one of the 5 thrown by Rakowski so far in this game. 10 strikeouts for him on the season. He struck out 83 batters for Rutgers in the 2019 regular season. A tough 2-6 record for him. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's barely fouled off by Ludwig. So we'll do the 1-2 again.
Yeah, and when you're up 1-2, you can have a little fun with the batter just as long as you don't make that big mistake. 1-2, you can have some fun with some off speed, mix up the location, change the eye level. Let's see here. Fastball maybe up high is what I'm thinking if I'm Rakowski.
Sun setting here at White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts. Rakowski comes set. Look over to second. Now the 1-2 pitch to Ludwig, and ground ball third base side, moving foul. Xavier Warren picks it up. Ludwig fouls off 2 1-2 pitches, and we'll do it again.
And it looked like that pitch was supposed to be high. Paul Gazzo behind the plate was setting up high. 1-2 count. You went off speed. The first pitch, 1-2. Then you just went fastball high. Changing the speed, changing the location. I think probably another fastball this time. Just big it down, back at the knees.
Here's the 1-2 yet again from Rakowski. And can't get the call on the fastball. Looking for the outside corner. And the count evens up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. 4-0 lead for the Braves. It's Nico Cavadas over at second, who led the inning off with a double down the right field line. The first hit for the Mariners here in this game. Rakowski looks back towards second. Now the 2-2 pitch to Ludwig. Right down the middle, got him looking. 6 strikeouts for Harrison Ratowski. There's the second out of the inning.
And that's just a masterful job of Rakowski there, working that at bat, working the pitch count, changing eye levels, where the ball comes out, where the batter is looking to see the ball come out of the pitcher's hand. Great job. And now you've pretty much neutralized that leadoff double. You got 2 outs and a ground ball, fly ball anywhere. You're going to get out of the inning unscathed.
Ludwig strikes out for the second time today. That brings up Jackson Greer, the 7 batter, and he rockets a ball over to right field. Rivoli under it and puts it away. 1 hit, no runs for the Harwich Mariners. They leave Nico Cavadas over at second, a 4-0 lead still for the Bourne Braves as we head to the top of the 6th. You're watching Bourne Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Mackenzie Morris at Bridges, 7-8-9, due up for the Bourne Braves with a 4-0 lead in Bourne's favor in the top of the 6th inning. Harwich was finally able to get a hit off of Harrison Rakowski from a leadoff double, but he couldn't come around to score as Rakowski got the next 3 batters out, and Jake McKenzie, who doubled in his last at-bat, later came around to score, will lead it off against Antonio Menendez. And the first pitch, McKenzie watches for ball 1 that falls in the dirt.
Yeah, and Sam, you and I were talking there in between innings about where this game's at. And do not be fooled. This game still is not over. If you're Bourne, you only got one job, and that's pour on the runs.
1-0 is in there or out of the zone, excuse me. 2 balls and no strikes to McKenzie.
That was a good 1-0 pitch there from Menendez. Just didn't get the call, though. Sometimes, when you try and paint the black, you never know what it's going to be.
2-0, McKenzie fouls it off toward the backstop. And out of play. That's the first strike of the at-bat. 2 balls and 1 strike. You mentioned how it's never over, Joran. We know how good this Braves bullpen is. 6 runs allowed through 5 games, but take out Shane Munz's 4-run inning, and it's only 2 runs allowed as McKenzie check swings. Yes, he did go around, and the count evens up 2 balls and 2 strikes. You have to believe Harvey Shapiro has a lot of faith in that bullpen through 5 games.
Well, he absolutely does, and you also have to believe that Harvey Shapiro does not think this game is over either.
2-2, McKenzie fouls it off. And he'll stay in the at-bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, no outs. In the top of the 6th inning, a 4-0 lead for Bourne. Collected their second win of the year last night in the second game of the doubleheader. Here's the 2-2 pitch to McKenzie. It is upstairs.
Ooh.
And the count will run full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. You saw the look on McKenzie's face. He thought that was strike 3.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I thought it was strike 3 as well. And he's lucky to be up here. Let's see if he takes advantage here. 3-2.
Payoff from Menendez. McKenzie swings at it, lifts that ball to left field. Chris Gallen moving back, track wall. It is off the wall. Jake McKenzie moving over to second base. No, that's a home run. Jake McKenzie homers to left field on a 3-2 pitch, his first homer of the season, and it's a 5-0 lead for the Bourne Braves.
And baseball can be such a cruel mistress sometimes. You're only a couple inches away from getting a strikeout. The very next pitch, you give up a solo shot to left field. That one barely getting over the wall, but whether by an inch or by a mile, a home run is a home run. 5-0 Braves.
And that'll bring up Cody Morissette, who watches strike one. Jake McKenzie went opposite field to left, and there's a ball, one strike count to Morissette. There's the 1-1. Now watch it for strike two. Morissette got an RBI double in his last at-bat in the fourth. I tell you what, Jordan, that clear fence over in left field didn't do me any favors. I saw the ball bounce. I thought it was a double. And it turns out getting over the fence, a solo shot for McKenzie. 1-2. Morissette, a half-hearted swing, infield fly over to Brian Dempsey at short. He puts it away with ease. And there's the second, or check that first out of the inning.
Yeah, it doesn't help that you had both umpires also kind of standing right on the line as well. But Braves will take it. I'll tell you what, 5 runs throughout 6 innings, and the Braves still aren't done here in this top of the 6th. It just goes to show that, some nights the bat is working.
Noah Bridges comes up for his third at-bat. Double in the third inning, came around to score on a wild pitch and grounded out to second in the fourth. Here's the first pitch from Menendez. He fouls off on the third base side out of play. Menendez starts him out 0-1. Braves with now 8 hits and 5 runs to show for it. You certainly thought after the second inning they loaded up the bases and didn't get any runs home that this could be another bad game for the Braves, but they end up scoring 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and now 1 in the sixth as Bridges fouls off the 0-1 pitch, now 0-2.
Yeah, you thought it was the same story, second verse, but it's not been. It's been what an improvement. You go against Falmouth scoring 10 runs, and now 5 runs here against Harwich.
0-2 to Bridges, and Menendez got him way out in front on the off speed. He's gone swinging. So there's the third strikeout through the Braves lineup here this evening for the second out, and that'll bring up Xavier Warren. We're back to the top of the lineup.
I'll tell you what, the most impressive thing about this game is that the Braves have been able to generate 5 runs without Xavier Warren. Xavier Warren 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts here tonight. Obviously not his best game, but that gives you hope that the Braves, who really relied off of Warren to get on base, have done it without him here tonight.
And here's the first pitch to him. He watches right down the middle for a strike. We mentioned Xavier Warren from Central Michigan, one of those temporary players still fighting for a roster spot, has struggled in his past 2 games. Really struggled in the double header as there's another called strike on Warren. Still looking for that first hit since Saturday, where he had 4 RBIs in a 3-hit game for him. Here's the 0-2 on Warren, and that pitch sailing high for Menendez, a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Warren playing third base today. That's the only spot in the field we've seen him so far in the first 6 games. Here's the 1-2 pitch, is off speed. He takes it outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a great take there from Xavier Warren. I don't know how you don't swing at that pitch. That's just great discipline. Just missed the plate offside. Now 2-2. Probably going to come fastball here. You have a chance to make something happen.
2-2 pitch from Menendez. He uses that sidearm motion, and Xavier Warren goes down looking. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Antonio Menendez, but a solo shot down the left field line for Jake McKenzie. His first homer of the year makes this a 5-0 lead for the Braves heading into the bottom of the 6th inning. You're watching the Braves baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Harrison Rakowski back on the mound to begin his 6th inning of work as the Braves got one more in the top of the 6th. It's 5-0. Rakowski will face Dempsey, Harris, and then back to the number 1 spot of Chris Galland, as Rakowski has only allowed 1 hit through 5 complete innings so far, striking out 6. And the first pitch to Brian Dempsey inside and low for ball 1.
And I understand it's a Cape League. You want to get as many guys as you can in the game. Don't want to wear out your arms. But if you're Harvey Shapiro, how do you take him out of the game?
1-0 to Dempsey is high. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, we haven't seen a starter go into the 6th inning. This is the first time and the longest time we've seen a Braves starter go so far in the early season. 2-0 is lifted high over on the right side of the field. Racing in, it will be Brendan Rivoli in right field by the line. And there's the first out of the inning for the Braves.
And it's more of the same going on right now for Harrison Rakowski. I'll tell you what, this time he's behind in the count, able to get Dempsey to pop out. Got the bottom of the order coming up, and Danny Harris, then it's right back kind of to the meat of things, right up with Chris Galland at the leadoff spot. Big out to get here, get you some confidence, get you zooming out of this bottom of the 6th.
Danny Harris steps in with 1 out, nobody on, and a swinging strike on the first pitch of the at-bat, and just not great contact for the Mariners. They have not been able to square up the ball really at all, except for that leadoff double from Cavadas. As Rakowski has pitched a gem so far. The 0-1 is outside on the fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lights turning on here at White House Field. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Danny Harris. Harris flies it up right side. Alec Burleson under it. 2 outs.
And you can hear the bench loving Alec Burleson. You see them reacting to him catching the ball. I think it's just because of his lack of time over there at first base. You love to see that, though. I mean, a bench having fun, especially when you're up 5-0. It's just fun to see, fun to be at the ballpark.
Well, this is a very loose group, and we learned that the first time we were here in the game that got called about 30 minutes before first pitch last Tuesday, as Chris Galland steps up and watches ball 1. You remember, Jordan, the team was stretching out over on the first base line, and 2 birds were just flying in the sky, and they were watching it.
Yeah.
There's a hard hit ball on the third base side from Galland. There will be the second hit for the Mariners. He stops over at first. It's a 2-out single for Chris Galland.
And that was, except for the double, the hardest hit ball for sure, just over the jumping Xavier Warren over there at third base. Almost made that play. I'll tell you what, Jake McKenzie, it's not going to go in the box score, but he did a nice job getting over there quickly and limiting that to just a single, because the way that ball reacted off the bat and the noise it made, you would think it was extra bases for sure.
Galland gets on with a 1-out hard hit single to left field. Joey Weimer, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs, comes up here in the bottom of the 6th, down 5-0. First pitch to him, he sends to center field. There's 2 straight singles, and Noah Bridges will field it over in center, and Harwich now has runners at first and second with 2 outs.
And they're going after Rakowski. Perhaps they've realized that he's trying to get ahead in the count early, trying to steal a strike. You have the last 2 hits coming off of a 1-0 count, and that was the first pitch in the at-bat. And now you go up against a very dangerous Bobby Seymour, and that's why I said the game's never over till it's over, Sam. You get an extra base hit here, you score a couple runs. You never really know until you don't.
And with one swing of the bat, Bobby Seymour could make this a 2-run game. We know how much power he has. Hasn't homered in the Cape League quite yet. He's definitely due for one. In the 7th game for Harwich, they're 3-3 right now. Rakowski stays in the game. You have to imagine this will be his last inning before Harvey Shapiro turns it over to the bullpen to take care of the final 3 frames. 2 outs, runners at first and second for the Mariners. Rakowski feeling some pressure. He steps off the mound. Seymour's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, so Rakowski has been able to quiet him down in this game. Here's the first pitch to him. That ball outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
And the same token, though, with 2 outs, if you're Rakowski, you're thinking these guys on first and second don't mean anything to me. I'm going after my man at the plate. 2 outs, go get the biggest fish in the sea here in Bobby Seymour.
Rakowski looks back towards second, where Galland is. Here's the 1-0 to Seymour, off speed, and got Seymour way out in front for a swinging strike. Looks like he got a tip of it that went back into Gazzo's glove. And that'll even the count up, 1 ball and 1 strike.
You go off speed low here to Seymour. Let's see if Rakowski dares fastball. Gave it the last 2 singles on the fastball.
Rakowski, the left-handed pitcher, with the ball in the glove. Now the 1-1 delivery to Seymour. A slow roller over to first base, gloved by Burleson. Flip back over to Rakowski, and nothing doing in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 2 hits with 2 outs, and Harwich can't cash in. A 5-0 lead for the Braves as we head into the later innings, the 7th. You're watching Braves Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Braves enjoying a 5-0 lead as we head into the top of the 7th inning. It'll be Alika Williams, Alec Burleson, A.J. Curtis, the main part of this Braves lineup. Here's the first pitch to Alika Williams, and he fouls it off. Antonio Menendez still on the mound. This will be his 3rd inning of work. He came on in relief for Wade Strain, who went 4 innings, allowing 4 runs, 3 of them earned, only striking out 1. The Braves are really on his pitches as Williams fouls it off third base side. He now finds himself in a hole 0-2.
I'd say Harvey Shapiro over there on the third base line just let that ground ball go through his legs. I'm hoping the guys give him some grief about that when he gets back into the dugout. That'd be funny.
Harvey Shapiro, one of the longest tenured managers for the Braves. Here's the 0-2 outside. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Won the championship with the Braves in 2009. Has since gone back to the championship game in 2014 and 2017. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Williams, swinging strike 3, and Menendez collects his 4th strikeout of the ballgame.
Yeah, Menendez has been working well so far here tonight. Gave up the 1 mistake to Jacob McKenzie, but other than that, that has been the only hits he's given up. We're talking about 4 strikeouts here and entering his 3rd inning.
So here's Burleson. Hasn't seen the success that he's seen in his previous games. Watches ball 1. He's 0 for 3, a pair of ground outs and a fly out to right field in the 3rd. Came into this game with one of the leading averages on the team through 3 games for him. Came a little bit later. East Carolina was playing in a super regional, trying to get to the College World Series. The 1-0 is hit back up the middle. Brian Dempsey, the shortstop, gloves it right by second base. Throw to first, and Burleson is gone for the 4th time today.
Yeah, Burleson a little unlucky right there. Hits it right into the shift. Dempsey playing kind of just right behind second base, and that's exactly where the ball went, right past the pitcher's mound, right to the north side of second base. Dempsey did a nice job getting the feet over there, shuffling, and making an accurate throw over to first base.
A.J. Curtis now coming up with 2 outs, nobody on, 5-0 lead for the Bourne Braves. 8 hits in the game compared to 3 for the Harwich Mariners. Here's the first pitch to Curtis. Fastball right down the middle in the zone for Antonio Menendez. Strike 1. Curtis has reached base twice, but has yet to get a hit. Had a walk in the 3rd and reached base on an error in the 2nd. Here's the 0-1 from Menendez. Curtis, a hard swinging strike way out in front of it, and he's down 0-2.
And like I said, Menendez working rather quickly here through the lineup. If you blink here, the Braves might be 3 up, 3 down.
Already 4 strikeouts for Menendez, looking for number 5. That ball outside. A ball and 2 strikes to the Braves' designated hitter. Curtis was able to leg out a triple in the doubleheader yesterday against Orleans. 1-2, he gets a bat on it, fouls it off first base side going toward the fans. And he stays in the count, a ball and 2 strikes.
And here down 1-2, all you can really do, choke up, extend that strike zone, your own personal strike zone, swing at pretty much anything close.
1-2 pitch to A.J. Curtis is a chopper on the first base side that just goes foul on the line. We'll do the 1-2 pitch again. Well, I tell you, Ace Adams got exactly what he was expecting from Harrison Rakowski. Only 3 hits allowed, no runs. 6 complete innings. We assume we'll see another arm coming out of the bullpen in the 7th inning. Here's the 1-2 to A.J. Curtis. Got him swinging. So the 5th strikeout of the game for Antonio Menendez. Braves still hold a 5-0 lead. We head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. It's time to stretch here at White House Field. You're watching the Braves baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Harrison Rakowski's day is done after 6 innings pitched, only allowing 3 hits, no runs, and striking out 6. Braves manager Harvey Shapiro turns to the bullpen and turns to the right-hander from Southern New Hampshire, Wesley Tobin.
Yeah, Wesley Tobin, a little bit of a character on the team, kind of the most laid-back personality. I pitched earlier in the season against Orleans on opening night. The same thing with Rakowski. In that appearance, went 3 innings, no runs allowed. He had a strikeout and gave up 3 hits. So about a hits per inning. He's got a whip of about 1.15 or there around. Wesley Tobin getting his 2nd appearance in the early Cape League season. And what an outing tonight for Harrison Rakowski.
Absolutely. Great pitching from Rakowski as the Braves have gotten a 5-0 lead over the Harwich Mariners. It'll be Nico Cavadas, Chris Lanzilli, Michael Ludwig. 4, 5, 6 due up for the Mariners against Tobin for the first time. Here's the first pitch from Wesley Tobin outside for a ball. Well, if you saw a video on Twitter of a Braves player hanging out in a hammock prior to a game, that was Wesley Tobin. You mentioned he's one of the more laid-back guys on the team. The 1-0 is swung at and missed by Cavadas. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, and the rest of the team absolutely love him, by the way. It goes without saying. He is I think the biggest character, without a doubt, on this Braves team.
1-1 pitch from Tobin. Can't get the call on the fastball high and tight. 2 balls and 1 strike. Cavadas is 1 for 2, doubled in the 5th inning for the first hit for the Mariners. They only have 3 in the game today. Here's the 2-1, a hard fastball and a swinging strike from Cavadas. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And what you have to guard against here is the momentum shift. Now that Rakowski's out, Mariners might be feeling a little bit more aggressive at the plate, want to go after Tobin because Rakowski was so dominant.
2-2 pitch. Got the call. Strike 3. Wesley Tobin got Cavadas looking. There's the first strikeout for him of today's game and the first out of the bottom of the 7th.
Great pitch there from Tobin. And that's what you want to see out of your guy coming out of the bullpen, being fast, being efficient, and most of all, getting outs.
Tobin for Southern New Hampshire pitched 37 and 2/3 innings in 2018. As the first pitch to Chris Lanzilli is a chopper over to Xavier Warren at third, and I believe it went foul.
That is an unbelievably highly intelligent play that Xavier Warren just made. Almost a swinging bunt down the third base line. Instead of trying to barehand it and make almost an impossible throw over, he lets the ball roll foul. Unbelievably smart play. That's another one of those plays that's not going to be in the box score, but if he attempts to make a play on it, it's not even close. Lanzilli's on first base. He lets the ball roll foul. He picks it up when it's foul. That's almost shocking how smart that play was.
The ball had a spin to it that was going toward the foul line, and Warren, like you said, made an incredibly smart play and let the ball go foul. So it's 0-1 against Lanzilli. The 0-1 pitch is high on the fastball, evens up the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tobin saw his innings increase to 84 1/3 in the 2019 season, went 8-3 with a 2.67 ERA, 99 strikeouts in the regular season, and there's one of those high strikes from Tobin. Got Lanzilli swinging. Now a 1 ball and 2 strike count. He's 6'2", 245. One of the bigger players on this team. Almost looks like a defensive lineman. Here's the 1-2. And Lanzilli barely gets a bat on it. Fouls it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's built like a linebacker for sure.
Known around the team as Tobes. From Dover, New Hampshire. 1-2 to Lanzilli. Here's the delivery. Off speed, he takes him, and Lanzilli doesn't bite for it. The ball falls low and outside. And that will even the count up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 5-0 lead for the Bourne Braves. In the bottom of the 7th inning, 1 out, nobody on. 2-2 to Lanzilli. Ground ball over to first base, picked up by Burleson. The flip back to Wesley Tobin at first is in time. There's the 2nd out of the inning.
And nice play by Tobin there, not being caught as a spectator, knowing exactly as soon as Burleson caught that, as soon as he saw it was hitting Burleson's direction even, running up the line, a little PFP, pitcher's fielding practice, receives the ball well, steps on first, gets his own out for the 2nd out of the inning.
Michael Ludwig comes up as the 3rd batter in the inning. 2 quick outs, a strikeout looking for Nico Cavadas, and a ground out to first for Lanzilli. And here's the first pitch from Tobin to Ludwig, and he swings at it, flies it up over in the shallow left field area. Alika Williams, the shortstop, will get under it and make the play. No runs, no hits for the Harwich Mariners in the bottom of the 7th. The Braves still maintain a 5-0 lead. We head to the top of the 8th. You're watching Braves Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Top of the 8th inning from White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts. Braves have a 5-0 lead on 8 hits, and the Harwich Mariners turn to their 3rd arm of the game. It's Cam Bauman.
Cam Bauman from Iowa is a sophomore. Check this out, Sam. 2 pitches, fastball, knuckle curve. That's going to be interesting to see. Played in the Northwoods League last year. This past season for the Hawkeyes, 14 appearances, 4-4 record with a 5.5 ERA. He's pitched once so far. He pitched an inning earlier this season. No runs, or strikeouts, and that ERA sitting pretty right now at 0s across the board.
He was the Saturday starter for the Iowa Hawkeyes. First batter he'll face will be Brendan Rivoli. Rivoli swings at the first pitch hard for strike one. Rivoli single in the second, reached base on an error in the third inning where a run came home to score and flew out to third back in the fifth. That's his first plate appearance since the fifth inning. And Rivoli fouls off the second pitch. Antonio Menendez did a great job in relief of Wade Strain. Only allowed 1 hit. Unfortunately for him, that hit was a solo shot by Jake McKenzie to left field. Menendez in his 3 innings struck out 5. Really silenced this Braves lineup as Rivoli sends a line drive to second base, gloved by Danny Harris, throw to first, and there's the first out of the inning.
When we were talking about the Mariners earlier in the season, the big knock on them has been their bullpen, and their bullpen has been pretty solid tonight. Menendez only given up the 1 mistake to McKenzie. The problem is when you have 0 runs of support, nothing you can do as a pitching staff.
Paul Gazzo will come up looking to turn things around. He singled in the second inning, but has struck out twice since that at-bat. First pitch, he backs out of the box. It was a low and inside pitch. 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, we kind of learned Paul Gazzo is either going to be he gets a hit or he strikes out, and there's pretty much no in between.
Here's the 1-0 pitch from Bauman. Gazzo sends that ball to right field, curving foul. He evens up the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. He's a part of the catcher rotation, full of 3 catchers. He's one of them. Pete Burns, the other catcher, and Jake Campbell from Illinois also has gotten reps in, and Campbell had a little bit of a rough game in the first game of the doubleheader, which he got the start, allowed 3 or 4 steals to the Orleans Firebirds. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Gazzo. He swings at that one, lifts it high, first base side, curving foul, and will land among the fans. 1 ball and 2 strike count.
Yeah, for Gazzo, he came into the game 2 for 6 with 3 strikeouts. And so far today, like you mentioned, Sam, already 2 strikeouts in his 1 for 3 starts. So he is pretty much, like I said, he's going to get on base for you, probably with a hit or strike out.
1-2 from Bauman, bounces before the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Harvey Shapiro still looking for that solid day-to-day catcher he can rely on to start. Jake Campbell is the only catcher that is not a temporary player. 2-2 pitch to Gazzo. Swings at the off speed, gets a bat on it, and fouls it off third base side. We'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 8th inning, 5-0 lead for the Bourne Braves. Looking for win number 3 to head back to 500. 2-2 pitch to Gazzo. Lifts it high and foul on the first base side yet again. Jordan, he's been late on a lot of these pitches.
He has been, but he's also done a nice job of keeping himself alive in this at-bat. Very easily, he could have watched one of those pitches go by. He's probably had to extend the zone here, doing a nice job.
2-2, and that time he's in front of it on the off-speed pitch from Bauman, third base side, going foul.
Yeah, and he swung at ball 3 probably, and he probably could have swung at a different ball as well. Probably a lot of those foul balls missed the zone, but that's just what you got to do with 2 strikes.
2-2 there. At that time, Bauman gets him swinging, and Gazzo, for the 3rd time today, is retired via strikeout.
And it was a good at-bat there from Gazzo. There's only so many pitches you can foul off. Eventually, the pitcher's going to get you. And just one of those things where, early on, we're seeing the best pitching collegiately in the entire country is all in this baseball league. And it takes some getting used to, for sure.
Here's Jake McKenzie, who, if you remember back in the top of the 6th, homered a solo shot to left field for the last run. The Bourne Braves have been able to get across the plate. Here's the first pitch from Bauman. That ball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. McKenzie also a double back in the 4th. He's scored 2 runs today, as well as an RBI from the solo home run. Here's the 1-0 to him. It's inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
And quick look around the league. Brewster now has a 3-0 lead over Hyannis in that game. Wareham trailing Falmouth now 8-5 in the top of the 8th. And then once again here at White House, Bourne with a 5-0 lead.
2-0 McKenzie skies it high, moving foul. And into the seats, 2 balls and 1 strike now to the left fielder for Bourne.
How about Brewster right now? The Whitecaps, if they're able to hold on, going to be running with a 4-game win streak after starting off 0-3.
2-1, McKenzie, a hard swinging strike on the high fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll see Brewster tomorrow. They're currently on a hot streak. So was Harwich. Harwich swept their doubleheader yesterday, and McKenzie, a check swing on the 2-2 pitch. He did go around, so he goes down on a strikeout. No runs, no hits for the Braves in the top of the 8th. They still lead 5-0. We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. You're watching Braves Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Wesley Tobin back on the mound for his second inning of action here against the Harwich Mariners. He'll face the 7, 8, and 9 batters, the back half of the lineup for Harwich. 5-0 lead for the Braves. They've had the lead since the top of the 3rd inning. 2 runs in the top of the 3rd, another 2 runs in the top of the 4th, and 1 run in the top of the 6th. A Jake McKenzie solo home run brings us where we're at right now. So the first pitch to Jackson Greer, the catcher from Tobin, is fouled off back toward the backstop. 0-1. Another great performance for Bourne here today, Jordan.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say they've done a great job with Jackson Greer, the catcher. Came into the game batting .500, 0 for 2 to this point, a strikeout and a flyout.
Wesley Tobin got into his rotation. Looked like he was about to throw the pitch and then stopped. I believe a timeout was called. And now we're back to action. Here's the 0-1 from Tobin. Outside. Now leaving it up, a ball and a strike. Well, I said it last night in our Tomahawk Talk postgame show, but one thing the Bourne Braves need to work on is consistency. 1-1 pitch high and outside, 2-1. And it's like you see a different version of this team every game. The first game of the doubleheader was a 9-0 blowout where the offense couldn't get anything going. And a game like today where you got 8 hits and 5 runs, 2 very different teams. Here's the 2-1 from Tobin. Is a swinging strike on Greer.
Yeah, and that's part of this early going of the season is that you're dealing with a whole bunch of different guys who have never played with each other before. So you will get some ups and you will get some downs, just as baseball goes. The problem is you have to figure out how to level that out as the season goes on.
2-2 to Greer is a half swing. It's outside for a ball. He did not go around. So the count will run full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I think actually on that check swing, I believe Greer actually made a little bit of contact with it. It was ruled a foul ball. So, yeah, count will stay here at 2-2.
2-2 from Tobin now. Greer will foul it off, and it'll stay 2-2. Greer is 0 for 2. Strikeout in the 3rd, fly out to right in the 5th. Only his 3rd at-bat of the game. 2-2 from Tobin. Greer fouls it off again.
Yeah, we know how tough of an out Greer is. Like I said, came into the game batting .500, and that's just not a fluke, folks. I mean, you don't bat .500 just by accident. So definitely very talented in the batter's box. Have to do well here, does Tobin. To not make a mistake, go ahead and get the out.
2-2 again from Tobin, and Greer watches that ball outside. Now it's 3-2. A 1-0 win for the Mariners in the first game of yesterday's doubleheader for them against Falmouth, and they exploded for a 7-1 win in the second game, and the 3-2 is high and tight. Greer has to move out of the way, and that's ball 4.
And that's the first walk all day given up for this Braves pitching staff. You know, nothing really to worry about. Up 5 runs, runner only on first base. All you got to do is just try and pitch a ground ball here.
And pitching coach Ace Adams was talking to us pregame. He wants his players to throw fastballs right down in the zone. He doesn't want them to be afraid to give a batter a fastball in the zone. That's exactly what the Braves have been doing all game, is pounding the strike zone, and it's paid off. Brian Dempsey will come up with a runner on first. Ground ball immediately in between third and short, and that ball skips over into left field. There's the 4th hit of the day for the Harwich Mariners as Greer gets over to second.
Yeah, a little too predictable right there from Wesley Tobin. First pitch fastball on the lower part of the plate, but in the middle, like Ace Adams likes to see it. Just a little too predictable, especially after going and giving up the walk. So now in a situation here, a little scary for the Braves. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Have to do really well here against the bottom of the order, and Danny Harris try and find it out somewhere.
Harris also 0 for 2, a ground out in the third, a fly out to first in the 6th. Comes up against Tobin for the first time today. First pitch is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Jackson Greer over at second, Dempsey over at first.
Yeah, momentum's a funny thing in baseball. It can turn on a dime, and a base hit, especially an extra base hit here, and this game could get turned on its head, especially with no outs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Tobin collects, looks back towards second. Now the 1-0 pitch to Harris is outside, and a good hitter's count for Danny Harris, 2-0. And like I've been saying, one swing of the bat could flip this game on its head. 5-0 lead for the Braves. Runners on first and second. 2 errors for the Harwich Mariners that have really come back to bite them in this game. Tobin stares down the catcher. 2-0 to Harris. Another outside pitch. 3 balls and no strikes, and Tobin seeming to have location issues now.
Yeah, and if I'm the catcher, Paul Gazzo, I'd call time right now. Go talk to the pitcher. Go and calm it down. Remind him, hey, we're up 5 runs. These guys on first and second don't mean anything to us. You know, especially if this pitch misses the zone and we have a 4-pitch walk, expect Ace Adams to come out here and talk to his guy.
A must-needed strike for Wesley Tobin on 3-0, and it falls low. A 4-pitch walk for the second walk of the ball game. And with the top of the order coming up, the Harwich Mariners have loaded up the bases. So Tobin, for the first time this season, showing some struggle. And we'll have a mound visit from Harvey Shapiro. Wesley Tobin in the game against Orleans went 3 innings, just allowing 3 hits, no earned runs for him. And Harvey Shapiro visiting with Wesley Tobin. And we'll have a new pitcher for the Braves. No outs, bases loaded. And that'll be it for Wesley Tobin.
Yeah, Tobin night comes to a rather quick end. He only pitched 1 inning. Looks like gave up no hits, no runs, but he is responsible for all 3 of the runners aboard and 2 walks so far with the strikeout. So those are the final numbers. Tyler Brocious coming into the game. And Sam, you and I love to see Tyler Brocious, more so because of this delivery. Check this out. Submarine, absolute submarine. He gets even lower than Menendez does. He already pitched earlier this season, threw 1 inning in that game, got 1 strikeout, no hits given up. And that ERA, at least for now, is staying perfect.
Yeah, Brocious, another one of those temporary players, the right-handed submarine pitcher from Rhode Island, from Denville, New Jersey. Pitched for Rhode Island, went 6-2 with 6 saves, 39 2/3 innings pitched, and a 2.27 ERA. He now comes into a tough situation. Bases loaded, nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning. His team with a 5-0 lead. Now, when the Braves got bases loaded, nobody out in the 2nd inning, they couldn't score.
Yeah.
Brocious is hoping for that here tonight against Harwich.
And that would be huge if he's able, only even if 1 run scores, that'd still be a huge win for Tyler Brocious. You figure here, if you're able to get a ground ball, a double play ball, that would be massive. I mean, you think about it, 1 swing of the bat, and we have a 1-run ball game on our hands. That's why in baseball, the game is never, ever over until it ends. 5-0, but Harwich is absolutely threatening here. And like I said, you come up against the top of the order. You have Gallen, Weimer, and especially Bobby Seymour in the shadows waiting for an opportunity. It's going to be an interesting 8th inning here, folks.
Temperature cooling off, and the Harwich Mariners hoping their bats can heat up. Down by 5, bases loaded, nobody out. Over at third, it's Jackson Greer. At second, it's Brian Dempsey. And Danny Harris, who just got on with the walk, is over at first. That'll bring up Chris Galland as Tyler Brocious finishes up with the warm-up pitches. Galland is 1 for 3, a single in the 6th, a strikeout in the 4th, and a fly out to center in the 1st inning. He comes up for the 4th time today. Brocious, the right-hander, against the right-handed batter Chris Galland, taking over left field today. Brocious comes set. Here's the first pitch to Galland. He swings at it. Chopper over to short. A run will come in. Alika Williams throws it over to second. Scoring is Jackson Greer, but the Braves get the first out of the inning.
A little unfortunate there because Brocious does his job. He gets the ground ball. The problem is it's just a slow chopper. Now, by the time Alika gets the ball, he only's got one play, and it's to second base. And by the time Morissette catches it, steps on second, there's no play over there at first base. And now Mariners on the board.
They get on the board, but that was really the only play Alika Williams had over at short. Now it's Joey Weimer. Comes up with runners at first and third. Brocious hoping for a double play ball. Here's the first pitch, right down the middle for a strike on the submarine motion. Weimer is 1 for 3 as well. Singled back in the 6th inning. A couple of ground outs before that in the 1st and the 4th innings. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Brocious. Can't get the call on that one. He evens up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Over at third, Brian Dempsey. Chris Galland at first. Got on with the fielder's choice. One pitch from Brocious. Is low and outside. That'll move the count up. 2 balls and 1 strike for Weimer.
And 2-1 here. Don't want to make a mistake. So this is, if I'm Joey Weimer, I'm expecting a fastball, and probably with Brocious not going to get above my thighs.
2-1 to Weimer is a hard swinging strike. He comes out of the box on that fastball from Brocious.
Yeah,
count 2-2.
Yeah, hard swing is an understatement right there, Sam. He pretty much gave that swing his absolute all. He saw fences when he saw that pitch. Couldn't connect with it, and now Brocious has an opportunity here to make him look silly once again, and a strikeout here would be absolutely huge.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners at the corners for Tyler Brocious. Here's the 2-2. Weimer, a half swing. Did he go around? He did not. On the appeal over to the first base umpire, the count will now run full. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Weimer.
That's one of those bang-bang calls. Did he go around or did he not? Really, only one person has got the angle, and that's going to be the first base umpire. He says no, and now here 3-2. Got to make a play here if you're Tyler Brocious.
Brocious staring down Paul Gazzo, now steps off the mound. Joey Weimer with 2 RBIs during this young season. Looking for a few more in this at-bat. Payoff from Brocious. Weimer looks at it, and that's a called strike 3, a huge strikeout from Tyler Brocious. There's the second out of the inning.
And Brocious has done an outstanding job so far. He was dealt a bad hand having to come into the game, bases loaded, no outs. He gives up the 1 run on the ground ball, gets a huge strikeout, has the opportunity to get out of here, really limiting the bleeding, but he's going to have his cards out, his cards dealt in front of him here with Bobby Seymour.
This will be the toughest batter he will face, Bobby Seymour, who's been held in check. 2 strikeouts in the 1st and 4th innings and a ground out to first in the 6th. So hitless today for the leading batter for the Mariners. First time he faces Brocious. Runners at the corners. First pitch as taking off. It's a called strike as Galland got over to second on the stolen base. No throw from Paul Gazzo.
And that's the classic. First and third, you let the runner steal second, because if you throw down, and especially if Galland beats the throw out, the runner at third over there, Greer, is going to come home. Or should be Dempsey over at third.
Now second and third. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Brocious to Seymour. Seymour watches it low and outside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike on the off-speed pitch from Brocious. Seymour looking for his first hit of the game, and Harwich looking to put more on the board. In the bottom of the 8th inning, 5-1, Bourne leads. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Brocious, a hard swinging strike from Bobby Seymour, and he's now in a 1-2 hole. Brocious doing an excellent job out of the bullpen dealing with this situation.
Yeah, and I'd be shocked if Bobby Seymour sees anything remotely close to the strike zone here. 1-2, very dangerous hitter up at the plate. I expect Gazzo to set up probably low and outside here.
1-2 from Brocious. Seymour got him swinging. And the Harwich Mariners are only able to get one run home in the inning. Tyler Brocious comes out of the bullpen and strikes out 2. 5-1. The Bourne Braves lead it as we head to the top of the 9th inning. You're watching Bourne Braves baseball on the Bourne Baseball Network. A big-time strikeout from Tyler Brocious at the end of that 8th inning. A 5-1 lead for the Bourne Braves as they come up for what could be the final time here in the 9th to try and pad that lead. It'll be Cody Morissette, Noah Bridges, and back to the top of the order with Xavier Warren. Cam Bauman still on the mound for the Harwich Mariners. Morissette today is 1 for 3 as he fouls off the first pitch from Bauman. An RBI double in the 4th inning for his first hit of the season. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Bauman. Morissette swings at the off-speed pitch and fouls it off on the first base line. 0-2 now. Well, an encouraging thing for Cody Morissette. He hasn't struck out today.
Yeah. Well, let's not jinx him here as he kind of falls behind the count rather quickly. 0-2. He has struck out a lot of times so far this season.
Pitches outside on the 0-2 pitch. 1 ball and 2 strike count to Morissette. Came into this game 7 strikeouts and 10 at-bats. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and Morissette a swinging strike, but it falls behind the catcher. Morissette will get over to third on the drop, or the first on the drop third strike, as it got behind Jackson Greer. So Morissette strikes out, but he gets on.
Well, how's that for a catch-22, huh? In the stat line, that looks not that great. Another strikeout, but he gets on base, and that's all what it's all about, getting on base.
Noah Bridges will now come up. Bridges is 1 for 3, and a double back in the 3rd inning. Came around to score on a wild pitch, ground out in the 4th, and struck out in the 6th. So Bridges will come up here in the 9th with now Cody Morissette over at first base. Braves have only been able to get 1 hit in the game ever since Wade Strain was taken out. That hit was a solo home run from Jake McKenzie, but some great bullpen work for the Mariners in the later innings. Wade Strain went 4 innings. Here's the first pitch to Noah Bridges. He swings at the first one, lifts that ball high to deep left field, and that ball just going foul as it curved over on the left field line. 0-1.
Yeah,
long strike.
Morissette is the first base runner, actually, since the Mariners have gone to the bullpen. McKenzie hit that home run, and of all things, how to get on base, he does it via the strikeout.
So Bridges will have an 0-1 count. We've seen him struggle, and the first at-bat today was able to get a double. A hard-hit double, and almost actually got out of here. Left-handed pitcher against left-handed batter matchup. Noah Bridges from UNC Wilmington. The 0-1 he fouls off and finds himself behind in the count, 0-2.
And for Bridges, struck out his last at-bat going up against Menendez. Now goes up against the lefty Bauman. Just trying to put the ball in play here. We saw that the Mariners have kicked the ball around a little bit out there, a couple of errors. Just make them make the play.
0-2 from Bauman. That ball high and outside. Bridges a good take. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, waste pitch there, throwing the ball up and out. Changes the eye level of the hitter there, Bridges. Now you might break it off here, come off speed, down and in.
1-2. Bridges swings at that one, lifts it high to shallow left field. Moving in will be Chris Galland. He will put it away, no problem. There's the first out of the inning. So back to the top of the lineup with Xavier Warren. And Joran, for as good as a performance we saw Warren have in the Falmouth game, he's really been quiet since then, not getting a hit since that game.
Yeah, and 0 for 4 so far in this game, and has the opportunity here, batting from the right side. Let's see if that turns things around for him. The switch hitter out of Central Michigan. You know, he hit that home run from the right side of the plate. Maybe he can get something going offensively here today as well.
Warren, like you said, 0 for 4, 3 groundouts and a strikeout. First pitch he sees, he lifts to right field. Michael Ludwig moves to his right side, but by pretty routine fly out, and there's the second out of the inning. Xavier Warren moves to 0 for 5. So he'll go possibly now 3 games hitless since the Falmouth game. So Alika Williams now coming up. Williams, a solid game so far. A single in the third inning where he came around to score a run, and an RBI single in the fourth. He's 2 for 4, struck out in his last at-bat. First time he's facing Bauman, and the first pitch is inside.
At 2 away here. Morissette, the runner over there on first base. He'll be running on the swing here. So for Alika Williams, he's been really good at just kind of putting the ball out there into the shallow outfield. To get in a single would be nice to see another one here.
1-0 is inside on the fastball from Bauman. 2 balls and no strikes. Alika Williams potentially going to Team USA. He'll definitely try out. The shortstop from Arizona State should be on the Braves for at least another week. 2-0. Williams, a rocket down the third base line. That's going foul. 2 balls and 1 strike now. Harwich, one of the prettiest fields in the Cape Cod Baseball League. A beautiful outfield full of trees. We got a good view of the sunset as well.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. It looked all orange all over the sky. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Alika Williams. An off-speed pitch. He was way out in front of a swinging strike 2.
It's definitely very picturesque out here at White House Field with the woods out behind the outfield. And I'll tell you what, early on, while the sun was out, we were talking about 70 degrees, just the perfect setting for a baseball game.
2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Williams will foul it off first base side. He'll stay in the at-bat, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A runner on, 2 outs. Morissette got on by the dropped third strike in the first at-bat of this inning. 5-1 lead for the Braves in the top of the 9th inning. Now the 2-2 on Williams. High and outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, so Morissette just took a look at the scoreboard just to confirm that the count is what it is, and the count is full, so Morissette will be running as soon as he knows that Bauman is going to the plate, so he has to be careful here not to get picked off with the lefty.
3-2, Morissette goes, and it's a swinging strike 3 for Alika Williams. We'll head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Due up for the Mariners, it will be Nico Cavadas, Chris Lanzilli, Michael Ludwig. 4, 5, 6 batters trying to keep this game alive for the Harwich Mariners. 5-1 lead for the Bourne Braves. We head to the bottom of the 9th. You're watching Bourne Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. Tyler Brocious back on the mound to try and end this game for the Bourne Braves, a 5-1 lead on the Harwich Mariners. They've had the lead since the top of the third inning, where they scored 2 runs also in the top of the fourth, and 1 run in the top of the sixth for a 5-1 lead over the Harwich Mariners. Nico Cavadas will lead it off for the Mariners here in this bottom of the ninth inning. They got their first run of the game after loading the bases up with nobody out, and a fielder's choice allowed a run to come home from Jackson Greer. First pitch from Brocious is a swinging strike on Nico Cavadas. Cavadas on the game is 1 for 3. A strikeout looking in the 7th inning, a double back in the 5th. The first hit of the game for the Mariners. Here's the 0-1 from Brocious, right down third base line, slicing foul.
Now 0-2. It'd be interesting to see how Brocious works here with this huge lead in the count. And I'll tell you what, you're up 4 runs, nobody on base. I say go after him. Why not?
We'll see what Brocious gives him. 0-2. He struck out 2 with the bases, runners on first and third. He got Weimer and Bobby Seymour. The 0-2 is low and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brocious certainly came into a tough situation with Wesley Tobin loading up the bases with no outs, and Brocious only surrendered 1 run on a fielder's choice and got out of it relatively unharmed for a 5-1 lead. 1-2 on Cavadas is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, so, and even in that situation, Brocious technically doesn't earn credit for that run. That run goes against Tobin because he put that man aboard. So Tobin gives up his first run. Brocious still has yet to give up a run here.
Brocious arms come set. The submarine pitcher, the 2-2 to Cavadas, falls outside yet again, and the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Only 2 walks suffered by the Bourne pitching staff throughout the entire game, both those coming off the hand of Wesley Tobin last inning. Brocious hoping to not make that 3. Payoff. And a swinging strike 3 on Nico Cavadas. He goes down for the second time today on the strikeout. And there's a big out number 1 for Tyler Brocious.
Absolutely. And now you have Chris Lanzilli coming up for the Mariners. Only 2 outs away here. Everything kind of cooling down a little bit. A lot of jackets, lots of sweaters out here at White House Field. It'd be nice just to pack it up, take it back in the bus, and head to Brewster tomorrow night.
Braves looking for their 3rd win on the season to move back to 500 after starting the season 0-2. Now it's Chris Lanzilli, who's 0 for 3 with 2 ground outs and a flyout. First pitch he sees is a fastball from Tyler Brocious for a strike.
And Hyannis did end up losing that game to Brewster, so they dropped to 0-6-1 on the year with only 1 point. If the Braves able to pick up this win, be huge, create even more separation, and keep that last playoff spot intact.
0-1. Lanzilli watches the ball low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. 0-6-1 is a tough hole to dig yourself out of in a 44-game season.
And let me tell you here, run differential of -36.
A tough start to the season for Hyannis. 1-1. A swinging strike number 2 on Lanzilli. He's down to his final strike.
And it's tough going up against a submarine pitcher. There's so much intricacies in releasing the ball like that, but then the spin that it creates coming off your fingers, it's almost impossible to hit. It's one of those where the only way that they're going to get a hit is if Brocious makes a mistake.
1-2 from Brocious. Got him swinging, and there's the second strikeout of the inning and the 11th strikeout total from the Bourne pitching staff. 2 gone in the bottom of the ninth.
And it falls on Michael Ludwig, who's already struck out 2 times. And I'll tell you what, Brocious has got to be feeling good. End it in style. Why not? Strike out the side and let's go home.
Brocious looking to end it in the bottom of the ninth inning in what's been overall a great game for the Braves. They jumped on Harwich early, got really shut down by their bullpen, but got their runs early and should have enough to close this game out. First pitch on Ludwig right down the third base line, curving foul into the Harwich bullpen. And I believe, did he catch that?
Yeah, pitcher over there just caught that backhanded with his bare hand. I'll tell you what, that was impressive as all, but I'm not sure if it was worth the pain. I guess he'll be the judge of that.
Harwich bullpen, impressive against the Bourne batters, and impressive in the field, I guess, over in foul territory. Here's the 0-1 on Ludwig. That ball falling low, evens up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Earned himself some street cred over there with that catch in the bullpen.
All 2 errors on Harwich. Might want to put one of those pitchers out in the field next time. 1-1 to Ludwig. Little chopper up the middle. This should do it. It's gloved by Alika Williams. Throw over to first. And the Bourne Braves win this one by the score of 5-1. They move to 3-3 on the season.
And what a game by the Braves. You know, the bats kind of cooled off as the temperature did here in Harwich, but really impressive in the fact they're able to jump on the Mariners so early. 5 runs in the first 6 innings, back-to-back in the third and the fourth. Get 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and that's all she wrote in this one. Great game from the Braves. The bullpen, once again, Sam, really impressive here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. An RBI for Alika Williams, an RBI for Cody Morissette, and a solo home run for Jake McKenzie makes that a 5-1 Bourne Braves victory on the road at Harwich in a game that was supposed to be played last Tuesday. They get this one in and get a big win on the road. Jordan, they moved to 3-3. That was a pretty big victory they were able to get after starting off the season 0-2. They're back to 500.
Yes, they are back to 500, and you said every game matters, and it's hard to dig yourself out of certain holes in this Cape Cod Baseball League season. And now, depending on how Falmouth did, the Braves could be sitting in the 3rd spot right now in the West Division and making that climb up the leaderboard after a little bit of a rough start. They've certainly found their footing so far this season.
So the Braves will travel to Brewster tomorrow for a 5 o'clock first pitch, but that'll do it here from White House Field. A 5-1 victory for the Braves. We'll have an interview post-game with Harrison Rakowski, the winning pitcher for the Braves, in just a little bit. We'll take a quick break. After the 5-1 win for the Braves, you're watching Braves Baseball on the Braves Baseball Network. A 5-1 victory for the Bourne Braves on the road, joined now by the winning pitcher, Harrison Rakowski. Harrison, a great start for you today. 6 innings pitched, only 3 hits, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. How comfortable were you on the mound today?
I felt really good. I felt really sharp, and that was the most important thing, especially getting ahead of the batters. That helped me a lot.
And with 5 runs from your offense, I mean, how does it feel? How much more comfortable do you get on the mound with a kind of backing from your hitting like that?
Anytime you can get runs is a help, especially pitching. Pitching is very hard, but there's great energy in there along with the extra runs, so that helped out a lot.
And your second quality start in the Cape. We saw you in the opening day start against Orleans. How's the stay been on the Cape so far? I mean, how much confidence do you have in one of the most prestigious baseball summer leagues in the nation?
Well, this is my second year, so I'm definitely a lot more comfortable than last year, but baseball is baseball. If you go out there and hit your spots and throw well, anything can happen.
Yeah, we talk about you are one of the 3 returning players. What's been the difference between last year and this year for you? Has it been the confidence?
Definitely the confidence and just getting more experience and getting out there more often.
As the season moves on, what more are we expecting from Harrison Rakowski?
Hopefully just more quality starts.
All right, that'll do it. 5-1 win for the Bourne Braves. That'll do it from White House Field. The Braves win it. We'll see you next time on the Bourne Baseball Network.